Hey guys, how's everyone doing? This is Nick from ForexNoobs.com with the daily analysis. So today is Tuesday the 30th of October 2018. Time is 10 a.m. here in the UK. You're looking at a AUD CAD daily chart. In today's analysis, we're going to be looking for price action setups across all these pairs here. When I say price action setups, what I mean is reversals, continuing, all kinds of setups, all kinds of price action setups. Anything that looks good, I am willing to consider trading. So let's see if we can find anything. It's been a bit of a drought on the higher time frames the last few weeks. But the lower time frames have had loads of trades. So we're talking 30-minute, 1 hour charts. There's been loads of trades on there, just not as much on the dailies. But, you know, that happens sometimes. Sometimes the dailies are just... well, the dailies and the higher time frames in general. So when I say higher time frames, what I'm talking about is like the 8-hour, 12-hour daily. Those time frames, there's been a bit of a drought there. But yeah, it happens. Anyway, let's see what we can find. Hey Zila, Ernesto, Steve, Edward, and Dave, and everyone else who's in here live. So there was nothing on AUD CAD, so I'm flicking over to EURJPY. TradingView has this cool new feature. You can color the flags, which is going to be really handy for us. So I think I'm going to do, for setups that are pending, so like things that haven't really fully formed yet, I'll probably do orange. And for setups that are ready to go, I'll do green. And then for 30-minute chart setups, I'll do 30-minute, 1 hour. You know, the other setups we trade, I'll do a different color, something like that. Come up with a system, but I love that they have the colors now. It's so much better. Oh yeah, thanks for reminding me about the news. I always forget that. Right, so we got daylight savings time shift, which happened on Sunday, of course. So we're all back to normal times now. Well, all of Europe. I think the US went back a little while ago, or they're a little while after us going back. I can't remember. But yeah, back to normal times, which is cool. I've heard that Europe is talking about ending daylight savings, like removing it. I'm not sure if that's really been, if it's just being discussed or if it's actually going to happen. Be cool if it does. I mean, most people don't even like daylight savings. It's not even useful anymore. It was useful a long time ago. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Point is, we're off daylight savings, so let's look at what news is coming up today. We got CB consumer confidence, yeah, whatever. We got BOC Governor Polos speaking. I mean, obviously, any speech can have an impact in terms of surprises. Like the person might say something wrong, or they might say something right, but it's interpreted wrong, which causes a big spike. So watch out for CAD around that time. But yeah, I'm not really too worried overall about news on Tuesday, which is today, obviously. Tuesday's news seems pretty minor overall. Early Wednesday, we've got CPI trimmed mean. I really don't think these are gonna have much of an impact. I mean, they could obviously have an impact on AUD, but yeah, I just don't really see there being a big impact there. We got this one I would watch out for. Interest rate announcements can always cause a bit of a move. And then there's a press conference attached to the interest rate announcement, which obviously, as I always say, when it comes down to people talking, it can have an impact on the market. So yeah, that's what might happen before the next webinar. So that's the news we have to look forward to in the next 24 hours roughly. This one is the one you'd probably worry about most. This one worry about a little bit for their respective pairs. So this one you worry about for CAD, this one you worry about for JPY. If you're in trades, you know, just be careful. Just make sure you're aware that prices can spike. For the lower time frame trades we take, 30 minute, 1 hour, that kind of stuff, all of these reports can have an impact. So for 30 minute and 1 hour, you have to be more wary of the news. So, yep. Done. Right, EURJPY is pushed back up to this resistance area. Stalling out at resistance, there is potential for a short trade here. Yeah, there is potential for a short trade, but it would be definitely a messy one. I mean, last time it tried to do that, it turned around. It did give us a nice bounce here. Yeah, let's keep an eye on this one, on EURJPY for a potential short. I'm not really that excited about this, but you know, there is potential here, so keep an eye on it. I'm looking at that on the lower time frames, by the way, the 8 hour, something like that. But it could also just happen on the 12 hour. Don't rush into the trade, just, you know, think things through. AUD/USD is just doing what it's been doing for a while now, just that kind of sideways movement. Not really giving us much in terms of good setups. I don't even know why I have CHF/JPY open. Someone was asking me about this the other day, but I don't trade this pair, so I'm just going to remove that. EURAUD is back on top of this support area. Looks like it might want to break through this time. Let's keep an eye on this anyway. It could stall out here because it is showing signs of stalling out at this support area. Might give us a long setup, bit of a long shot. It wouldn't be a really good setup with all the mess to the left, but definitely worth keeping an eye on. Orange is the ones we are just keeping an eye on. We're monitoring because it's on a good support or resistance area, but the setup is not ready to go yet. We'll mark the green ones are the ones that are ready to go, if we find any today. Euro CAD's just in between support resistance. That's not doing much. Euro GBP, this one's pushing up to the resistance area. This one's got a nice little bit of movement behind it. It seems to be trending up quite well, which is good to see. It's broken above the 200 moving average, which was in line with our resistance area. So now it's above resistance. Looks like it's climbing. I want to see what happens when it hits this resistance area, which is at the 89.40. But as of right now, there's no potential setup because we would need it to hit that resistance area first. So let's just wait and see what happens when it hits that resistance area. Might adjust this up here. It's not that much of a difference, but I think that's a better placement for this resistance area. But yeah, it doesn't make much difference. Point is, it's headed up to this upper resistance area. Yeah, let's just see what happens when it hits that area. EURJPY stalled out on top of the support area. Looks like it's turning around now. I was looking at this one earlier today when I got up, thinking about, you know, there is, it looks like it might be reversing here. Let me draw this in. And had you already entered, you might have got a good risk to reward ratio, but you know, that would be with the tightest possible entry and the tightest possible stop. A more realistic entry and a safer stop would be down here. This doesn't give you great risk to reward ratio. Zila, this is not a members only webinar, so if you have questions about the new setups that are for members only, please ask in the forum. But the answer is also no. Yeah, so you could enter in long if you want. I don't see this as a particularly good trade. There's a few big problems with this, okay? Even if you have a good entry down here and a very tight stop loss, tight because it's just below the low of indecision, it is still pretty far from your entry, but it's just below the low of indecision. I mean, this isn't necessarily a bad setup, it's just not a great setup is what I'm saying. Because the indecision candle's so big, to get a good risk to reward ratio, it needs to move really far from the entry. And there's just a lot of mess to the left. Is anyone even in this? I guess that's the most important question. Because no sense in breaking it down if no one's in this. But we wouldn't really know if anyone in the forum or anyone else is in it. Either way, if you're in this one, you may as well hold it. Just be very careful for this area here, because price has shown that it can stall out at this area. So you want to be careful around that area. Just monitor price closely. Set your alarms around that area so you can see what happens if and when it hits the area. And yeah, I mean, what else can we say about this? We'll monitor it. We'll take a look at it again tomorrow and just see how it's developing. EURUSD has hit this major support area, and it looks like it could be stalling out and turning around, but it also looks like it could keep moving down. We don't really know right now. Things are unclear, but I would say that they're going to clear up later this week. This is a very significant support area for EURUSD. So last time it was down here was the 30th of June 2017. So before that, see, it had a few bounces from it as a resistance area, and it struggled to make its way above that resistance area for a while. I mean, it did poke above it a little bit, but it came straight back down. So it struggled to move above it for a long time. Eventually, it got above it in June 2017, or the end of June, really. It was the start of July 2017. And it was above it until, well, it's still technically not really broken below it. It's tested it once here, which was August of this year, obviously. And now it's testing it again. So EURUSD is kind of like at a breaking point. It's about to break its yearly low, but it could also just get stuck on its yearly low and then turn around. So this is something we want to watch really closely, because there's opportunities here for either a short or a long trade, depending on what direction it goes. We can't really make a decision right now. We just need to wait and see how this develops. So if this gets below this support area, then we could be looking to trade a continuation. when it pulls back a little bit. So we would look for a break below, then we would look for a bit of a pullback to get a better entry, and then we would go short. If instead for the next 2 or 3 days it just stalls out here, continues to stall out, it's already stalled out for 3 days, but if it just continues to stall out here, it doesn't really start moving lower, then I'd be looking to get in for a reversal, kind of like here, but here the reversal happened a lot quicker. Here it's already taken some more time. So let's keep a very close eye on EURUSD. This level here has a lot of potential. We just need to we need to see what happens in the next day or two at this level. GBPAUD is also close to a pretty significant area. Not as significant as the EURUSD one, but it's closing in on this area here. It's not hit it yet, but it is moving fast, so I am going to mark this one too to keep an eye on. This coincides with the 200 moving average, which isn't as significant on the non-major pairs, but it still plays some significance. So it's a support resistance area essentially. So it's a double support resistance area. We've got our area plus the 200 SMA, or 200 MA rather. Let's see what happens when it hits down here. Could give us potential for a reversal. We'll keep a close eye on that one. GBP CAD, nothing much is going on. GBP-JPY, it's broken below this area, but this is a bit of a messy area. Yeah, I'm not convinced of a continuation. When it breaks below a support area, we're usually looking for continuations. But when it's only just broken below the support area, and the support area is a bit iffy because it could be down here, it could be a bit higher, it could be a bit lower. It's hard to tell if it's going to be a continuation. Continuations are obviously better when price breaks further below and then comes back. Then you get that better entry. But right now it's only just below it. Yeah, I'm not going to do anything with this. GBPUSD, this one's also headed down to major support, really close to that support area. This is the support area. Last time it was down here was again same as EURUSD in June, the end of June 2017. So this is a major low that price is heading towards on GBPUSD. Let's keep a very close eye on this low. Same thing as EURUSD. We want to see what happens when it hits this area. Want to see if it stalls out at this area and it gives us a reversal trade, or if it crashes through the area, then we'll be looking for a continuation trade. So let's keep a close eye on GBPUSD for the 127.00. New Zealand JPY, nothing much is going on. New Zealand USD, yeah, I mean, this is just an absolute mess right now, so there's nothing I'd want to trade there. USD CAD pushing up to this resistance area, but again, very messy pair at the moment, so nothing I'd want to trade there. USD CHF pushing up to the resistance area. There might be potential for a short here, but it doesn't look like it right now, so we'll just revisit this one tomorrow. USD JPY looks like it might want to break out of this small little range it was in for a while. If it does, then we might get something. So we'll revisit this one also tomorrow. And these are just futures. We're not going to really do analysis on them. Just looking to expand out into futures, which we'll probably start looking at in the forum for those who are interested. But right now, we aren't doing futures. So, are there any questions, guys? Just going to wait a minute or two in case someone's going to ask questions, and then we'll wrap this thing up. Right, doesn't look like there's any questions, guys. So yeah, let's wrap this thing up. 30-minute chart setups, 1-hour chart setups, basically compression setups. We'll take a look at on the forum today because this is public analysis. Those setups are members only, so we'll discuss those on the forum. I'm not really sure if there's any forming at the moment, so yeah, we'll come back to those. I don't know what you're talking about, Dave. You mean just in general? In general, we're waiting for a day or two and watching? I love this whole new list thing. Can you rename it? That'd be even cooler. Doesn't seem so. It doesn't matter. You don't need to be able to rename it. So orange list is things where pairs we're monitoring because there's potential setups forming. So AUD we'll look for what happens when it hits this resistance area, but I really don't like this one. It's way too messy. Euro AUD, it's hitting the support area, so let's see what happens. It looks like it's breaking through right now, but keep in mind, last time it did bounce away from a bit lower. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move this a bit lower to where it bounced from last time. So we'll see what happens when it if it gets through this area or not. Euro USD stalling out on this support area for a few days now. So let's keep an eye on that for a potential reversal, or if it breaks it, we're going to look for a continuation. GBPAUD, let's see what happens when it hits this support area. It's getting close to it, so I've marked it orange as something to watch because it could give us a setup in the next 24 hours or less. GBPUSD, same thing, headed down towards the support area. It's a strong move down, so let's look for a potential reversal from the support area. If it smashes through it, we'll start looking for continuation setups. And the purple list is EURJPY because that's an open trade that some people might be in. That's how we want to monitor. Bit of a risky trade. It's a very risky trade. I'm not entering this one, but yeah, we'll come back to it tomorrow for those who are in it. I really like this new flag system. It's really good. You just click the flag and then it pops up. You don't have to do anything. Yeah, there's a rename list option, but does it work with these? Oh, it does. Wow, okay. I unmarked the purple one, which was, where is it? Oh, I marked it orange, that's why. Okay. So we've got pairs to watch, open trades. We can rename the red list to something else. Oops. Oh no, it's still here. Right. Never mind. Yeah, I was saying the other day in the webinar, I was like, I wish you could recolor these flags. And then a few days later, they add that feature. They're listening to me. Probably come up with some better names, but yeah, I'm pretty excited about this feature. Well, sorry, Ash. I'm getting out of here now. I only had 30 minutes today, so you should have been here earlier, man. You're late. I'm joking, but you are technically late, so I can't. Normally, obviously, I would answer your question, but I can't go over it again at the moment. Because I need to be out of here in 3 minutes. So I'm going to wrap this thing up, guys. I got to be at the gym very soon. So I need to go get ready. So yeah, thank you guys for joining. And I will see you guys for tomorrow's webinar.